Hey guys, it's me David from SolidBrick Studios. I'm here with
Erik. I'm Erik, lead designer at LEGO.
Great, and we're actually taking a look at the Star Wars Celebration exclusive bust, the Darth Vader bust model. It's number 75227, ages 14 plus, and has 327 pieces. So Erik, what can you tell me about this?
Well, let's see, we were approached maybe back in October to come up with an exclusive that we could use for Celebration, and we had a brainstorming. We sat down, we tried to develop a whole bunch of ideas, and what it boiled down to is like, hey, let's do a small bust like this. We pitched that idea, and they went for it, and only a few short months later, here we are.
Great. So, how did the concept of this kind of start?
It's actually an interesting story behind this guy. It was way back in 1999 at the first Celebration. I went there and built a large 10-foot long Naboo fighter. Yeah. On that Naboo fighter, there was a little R2-D2 model that I designed years ago. And when I got back to the shop, R2 looked lonely with just his head, so I developed the body for him. And it was a scale that I thought was kind of fun. Before I knew it, I went designed a 3PO to go along with him, and then I eventually built a Vader. That sat on the shelf for many, many years. And when we came up with this idea to do a bust, we used the upper portion of that Vader model as the sketch model, as we call him, to develop the final product. Passed it off to my designer friend Mark, and he used that as the basis for what you see here.
Got you. Very cool. What do you think of the final set?
Yeah, quite a bit of it survived from my initial go at it years ago, but obviously when I built it back in 2005, there was not nearly as many specialized parts that were used in the final one. A lot more of the new curved slopes, and there's a brand new 4x6 wing plate in there that is available for the first time here.
Where, could you point it out?
Let's see. It's kind of buried in here, but it's the basis of the back of the helmet right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. I'm sure the fans will love that.
Yeah.
So you said you built like a R2-D2, right?
Yeah.
Was that bust like inspired? Like, I think you said, was this back in like the 90s, 1990s?
This was back in 1999 for the first Celebration in Denver.
Okay.
Along with another master builder friend of mine, we built a 10-foot long Naboo fighter.
Okay.
So I had the head for R2 for that model, and had some downtime in the office and decided, well, let's build the body for him. So I came up with the entire body for him. He's about maybe 12 inches tall. And interesting story is that model, somebody from Lucasfilm was touring the shop one day. They spotted that and they liked it. So I built a copy for them that went off to Denmark. And about 12 years later, that eventually got developed into the UCS model of R2-D2 that was in the stores back in 2012.
Wow.
The basis of it was the same, but obviously they worked a lot more play features into it, and they used all new updated parts for it. Right. So I can't claim full designership of that, full credit for it, but it was a pretty proud moment for me.
That's really cool.
But there was a scale that I like to work in, and so after that I built a 3PO to go along with him, and eventually Darth Vader. Darth Vader at full body height was like 18 inches tall.
Something you mentioned is how there's a lot more curved pieces nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think of like the development, not just of LEGO Star Wars over the last 20 years, but of all the new LEGO pieces that have introduced in those 20 years that have really changed the game of Star Wars?
When I first worked on that sketch model years ago, there weren't nearly as many of all these new curved slopes and the wing plates that are available now. This model would look very, very different if it was done 20 years ago, that's for sure.
A lot more studs.
Yeah, he is pretty studless, isn't he?
Yeah, well, got a couple down here.
A few, but yeah, there's not a single stud really. Well, there's a few there.
They just peek out right there.
Yeah.
I feel like Darth Vader is a really complicated helmet design. Like, you said you made an early concept model. Like, how do you approach something with all these curves and stuff like that? Like,
well, my sketch model years ago didn't have all those curves. The basis of the sides of the helmet with the hinge plates on there still is retained in this final model, but there was a lot more studs on mine. It was a much more blocky model, as you might expect from way back then. But yeah, I'm pleased to see the results of it. It's it was a really, really fast turnaround for us. Normally, a set like this will be in development for a year or two, but we had basically only 6 months to work on this. Really, really fast turnaround.
I guess my last question is, you work with plenty of different models and sizes and everything. Do you like when you're using these more curvature, newer elements versus just a normal brick building?
This is a nice scale to work with. Anytime you can just sit down and work on something at your desk, as opposed to developing a large scale model like I normally do, is that the small ones are really fun. Yeah, you get to really just sit down, old school, and grab some bricks and try to fit them together, piece them together, see what works, and then refine it digitally.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah. Well, thank you, Eric, for tagging along and taking a look at this set. It's an awesome, awesome build. I'm glad you got to be a part of the original prototype design of it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a real nice challenge for us.
Yeah, and also thank you for being here at Star Wars Celebration. It's an awesome booth here.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching.